Hey everyone, welcome into our product release webinar for the month of April. Crazy to think that we are already in April, but welcome in. We're going to let folks join us before we dive in, but we have a special announcement that you see on Shannon's screen that we'll cover here shortly. But as folks join in, we'll give everyone a few seconds here before we get moving. All right, we've got some folks joining in, so welcome, welcome. I guess I can go ahead and do some introductions before we dive in. So, if you haven't joined a webinar with us before, I'm Brooklyn. I'm a product manager here at Curate, and we have Shannon, who is our Curate expert. You've probably met with her through an onboarding or training or support over the years. So she's here, and then we also have Joshua on the call. He's also with our customer support, and so he will be helping any questions that you might have. He'll be in chat helping support there. And then we have a special appearance from Ryan, and he is our CEO. So he's going to be joining us today as well. And we're happy to have everyone on the call. Alrighty, so I will, before we dive into our demos of what's been released since you joined us last month in March, I will pass it on over to Shannon. So we have a little bit of a walkthrough of some exciting updates with our bonus program that we've mentioned in the past. So we want to make sure that everyone can get some entries in before we have an exciting live drawing later at the end of our webinar, but I'll let Shannon explain more. Shannon, I think you're on mute.
Sorry.
There
Yes,
you go.
I was trying to thank you, Shy. She said your voice is a little echoey, so I said that's probably because I'm sharing my sound and Brooklyn's talking. Welcome everybody. Yeah, so as you can kind of see on my screen, today we are going to do a $500 drawing literally today. So this actually sources from our bonus program that we launched. It's probably been a month or 2 months ago, but we're doing a drawing based on that bonus program that we've known. So every entry it counts for something, and so you can increase your entries that you have into the drawing. So if you have not already signed up for it, you can scan the QR code right now. I will actually go in and kind of demonstrate it so that you can see how it works. But you can just go straight to bonus.curate.co. For me, I'm like not tech savvy. So maybe you don't want to deal with the QR code. Just type it in your computer, bonus.curate.co. And it's going to pull up our bonus program. So I am currently logged in to the bonus program. It is super easy to log in. Whenever you first go to bonus.curate.co, we'll see if I can get it to pull up. I don't know if I will be able to, but down here at the very bottom, there will be a place. Just enter your email address, and I think it's going to ask you for your code, but it's not like a password situation or anything crazy like that. You just very easy to get logged in there. But what it is we would love your feedback. We would love reviews. We would love if you an experience video. Maybe today is not the day to do the experience video, or right now while you're on the call. But we have a lot of ways that you can give us some feedback or give us a review or something like that. And that is an entry into that $500 drawing that we're going to do today. In the system, we have made it really easy. If you have used AI before or anything like that, um, you can go in here and you can just put a couple of things in here and it'll help put something together really quick for you. That way you're not having to think of what's the perfect thing to say. You can just put it in here. So Curate helps me streamline my workflows and keeps everything together in one system. Um, I love how easy to use it is. Those are the main things that I hear from customers. They love that it brings it all together into one system. They love how easy it is and user friendly it is to use, and it helps streamline my workflow. So that's the short quote testimonial. So that's pretty easy. You can submit that for review. But then if you come in here, this is a little bit longer, but you can just copy this text and then go to leave a review on Google. And then once you've actually done that, you just take a quick screenshot and upload that here. That way we can just see that, it puts it through here. And for everyone that you do, it does have a thank you for your time, and effort that you did actually put into that. So for everyone that you do submit, it will allow you to you can let us know if you would like to do an Amazon gift card or if you want to apply it for a Curate account credit. Either one that you would prefer for us to do, you can do either one of those. And all of these have entries um, bonus into the $500 drawing that we're going to do today. So do it now. I took a long time to kind of show through that, but go ahead and do it right now. You can scan the code or do bonus.curate.co because we are really going to do a live drawing today. So if you submit some of that, those are entries that you can have to go into that. So, all right, yeah, jump on it, check it out. Okay, we are gonna take a quick look. We do have, it feels like every month I say this, but we have so many things that have been released in the last month. We are just moving and grooving when it comes to building features and developing new things in the system. So I'm going to kick us off today with the stuff that we're going to take a look at. We have a lot of exciting releases. I'm going to jump over here to this event. I've already got it open, kind of ready to go. And one new feature that people have been itching for, they have been asking for and asking for. So now we were able to finally get it to a good place and get it released to you guys. Is you have the ability to move the photos right here within the masonry grid. Now I'm going to actually reduce my zoom here. Let me see just to see a little bit more of my photos. But you can drag the images and move them directly within this board. So any sort of like rearranging that needs to be done, you can directly move them in this board to kind of get it to be the way that you want it to be, to kind of make it whatever you want it to be. So it makes your life just easier, simpler whenever you're kind of putting your pieces together. Allows you to rearrange that stuff in that board right there. Okay. The other thing that we have that we've recently released, so I'm going to hop over to another event that we have. Restore my Zoom. I'm one of those people that I just like to see more on one page, everything the more that I can see, the better. So I did a couple of boxes here. These are our cover containers. So if you're not familiar or you're new to Curate, you can freely customize the layout of your proposals, add other containers that you can use, and just rearrange it to make it match your branding or what you want to do. I was chatting with someone the other day. They are a kind of a luxury florist, a high value florist, and they actually do a high volume as well. And they use 3 different cover containers. So they use the Brilliance theme, the Brilliance cover container. They used this one, the Brilliance cover container. Then they also used this long box for Sprout and this minimalist cover. So you can stack multiple of them just to kind of make your branding, make it appropriate for your customer as well. When it comes to caterers, I do see a lot of caterers with this inspiration board and maybe this minimalist one as well. So it just kind of depends on you, what kind of gives the right tone for your business. For these ones, the update that we have is on this minimalist one and on this Sprout one, we include a box for the logo. What you can do now is you can turn off that logo container. If you don't want that logo container to be there, you can kind of customize that a little bit more and toggle off that logo container for both of these if that's not something that you really you don't want to do the logo container. You can toggle that off right there. The other thing that you are able to, that we have recently made an update to, as I'm going to hop over to my recipes over here. Sorry, let me go back to my orders page. If I go on the back end, now this is a floral recipe, but it's very similar if you're in catering or whatever you're doing a recipe for. We made an update to this tooltip right here. So you're able to see, okay, that's the value, 35.40 is the value with the markup on our first recipe. 21.60 is the value with the markup on the second one. So what we should be charging would be $57 for this particular line item with that combination of recipes that we have there. Something else to think about. So on if you're on the enterprise plan, you have the enterprise plan, you have another feature that we call assigned cost. So you have the ability to say, actually, this costs us X amount of money. So we see that a lot with catering items, with food items. Maybe you don't necessarily have the recipe within Curate, but you know the cost of that item and you want to track that revenue and that profitability in your account. So you can add an assigned cost in there. So say that my assigned cost for this one is going to be a $30. Well, what the system will do is it will include that with a markup. You can kind of see that. I've got to keep my cursor here, but it's got the $30 with the markup. So, and it will include it on top of those recipes that exist there. So, what this is it's just a way of providing more clarity around the recipes and where that profitability is coming from. That will be that one. Okay. All right. I am going to pass to Brooklyn. Let Brooklyn take it from here, and we're going to hop over to some more data.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. I'm really excited about that masonry grid image reordering. It's so easy to use, and as a visual person, it's really nice to see that happen within the container itself on the portal. So, thanks for showing that off. And then, yeah, let me share, and I'm going to dive us into some updates. So, let's see here. All right. Everyone should be seeing my account now, and I'm going to walk us through some updates that we've made through our branches. So, branches is an add-on. Not all accounts will have them, but it's for multi-location accounts. So it's really beneficial if you do have those other locations that you're wanting to manage in the one space of your account. So you would go to settings and then branches, and then this just is displaying that we do have multiple branches here. You are able to see I added a few here to show off, but I wanted to do one together with everyone of kind of how you can now add in both a phone number and an address. So these fields are just really helpful to just make managing location specific details, kind of just adding some extra clarity around these branches. So what you would do is you would go in to click the name of the branch. This is going to open a slide out, and then you'll see where you can now input some of these details. So we're just going to add in, we have the help of our like Google Maps here. So as I start typing, it helps me fill it in. So I can add this address here. If I have a phone number, great, I can add that in too. So let's add in uh, some just fake information here. But we now have our phone number and our address, so this just now, again, adds that extra clarity around managing those location specific details. And then this translates over now into our event print. So you need to set it up here in your settings before you can really see it come to life on an event print. But once you have these details here in your settings, and then you go and pull an event print. So I'm going to go back to my events list page. I'll select a few events here. Now, granted, this account, I only have access to one branch, but I'll still show how it works. But it would be really helpful if your user has access to several branches, and then it would clarify on those event prints kind of what's associated to what. So I'm going to pull these events here as an event print. And then we'll walk through on kind of how you can now add these details specifically to your event print if you want. It is totally optional. So if it's helpful, I would recommend adding this, but you can now go to here on your event print type. You can go to event details and open this up. You'll now see it here we have this little option for company. If you want to just add everything, just check the top box next to company. But if you only want certain fields applied to your Eventbrite, of course, you can pick and choose. So I'll kind of show us what this looks like. So if you're choosing the name, that's now going to show the company, and this is again our branch. So New City Creations and Decor. That's my branch name. If I wanted to add the phone number, you'll now see it says company phone number with that phone number that I added. And then lastly, I can also include that address, which comes in right here, company address. So these are all, again, very helpful just to add additional details to your prints and clarity as you guys are working through and might have multiple locations. But again, completely optional. And then, of course, if you like having these details, we always recommend saving that as part of your custom print type so that every time you pull a print type, if it's saved as part of your custom print, it will automatically include this here and you don't have to check it on and off every time. So those are some exciting updates we have around branches and the event prints. And then I'm going to cover one more update if we go back to our settings. Under settings, we now have an update around a permission toggle with users. So you would go to your user tab. You can see all the different users that you have on your account. This is also an add-on if you'd like to have additional users into your account. It's very helpful for various reasons why you might want to have additional users. But as you click in, you'll be able to see the permissions set for this particular person. And we've now added a toggle here of who can delete projects. So those are your events. So this is just to help protect important event data, maybe from accidental deletion, or maybe someone's not really supposed to be authorized to remove those projects. So this is all handled by the account owner. So you can see I'm an admin, so I cannot change this for myself or for others. It's only set if you're the account owner, you would have access to go in and choose who can and cannot delete those projects from your event list. And then that's just again referencing here where you could check an event and then delete that project. So that would prevent that from happening from someone you might not want to have access to that control. So just a little update there on some permissioning. So hopefully that helps kind of structure your team a little bit better on what they have access to and what they don't. So that's an update we have there. And then lastly, or I guess I have two more actually. I'm going to cover a really highly requested one. So hopefully a lot of folks are excited to see this. We are calling it venue notes. So we've introduced this. It now lives kind of the flow that you would use to implement this is if you go to your contacts, you now have the option. If you click into a particular contact, of course, I know we've covered this in previous webinars, but you do have the option to check mark particular contacts of your choosing as a venue. And so you can see here I have added some production notes. You would just click the pencil tool and then be able to format this production note area for this venue. And then this is now going to automatically populate those production notes tied to this venue contact when you select a venue in the create flow of your project. So you do have to add them in here. And so I'll kind of show that off. We'll select this Rolling Hills event space since I already had those notes in there. But if I go back to my event list and then I go to create a new event, we'll see that we have our regular process of creating that event. The slide out opens. And then down below, you'll see that we have the venue drop down, which we've covered in the past, but really helpful if you have a lot of venues that you primarily work with. It just kind of saves that data, pulls it in. And so now you can click here. If you are selecting the venue or the contact that we just saw that had those notes, let me click here. You'll see that all that data that I had saved with the contact just automatically pulls in. You'll see that I also have the location notes, which are really the production notes on the contact, but this comes in as your location notes. So you'll see all of those particular notes that I have here tied to this venue. You can, of course, add to it. So maybe it's just like a foundation structure of general notes, but for maybe this particular event, there's additional details that you want to add. You still have access to do that. You can go in, add any other notes that might be important for yourself or your team, but really helpful. So then that just automatically pulls over and carries through, and then as you create the event, it also clearly pulls through across event prints and whatnot. So,
I
um,
love
a really great
it's so
tool.
yeah, that's such a good tool. I mean, like, I it was maybe a couple months ago that I chatted with someone and they were like, "Man, we really need somebody somewhere where we can put like a PIN number for the building or directions of what door they need to go in or who's the person that you talk to on site if you need any sort of assistance or anything like that." And those were so good because those go to your prints as well. Those pull into your prints. And so if you are just pulling off like your delivery, like your pack list or something like that for your delivery team, you can include those location notes, those specific notes on there as well. They're so good. I was pumped. I actually discovered that on a call with the customer, and I'm sure she thought I was crazy, but I was like, "This is awesome."
It is. It's a really powerful. It seems so simple just to add a simple note like that, but it really is super powerful because if you're working consistently, we talk to so many of our curators that are on preferred vendor list, and then you kind of have those same details like Shannon's mentioning that you constantly are, wanting to kind of safe keep and tie it to this particular venue. You now have the option to do so, and then it just seamlessly adds it in automatically as you choose that venue here in the flow of creating your event. So, yeah, we're really excited about this one. We hope you all are too. It was definitely a big request that a lot of you all were wanting, and so we're really excited to have it live and out and ready for you to use. And then that leads me into my final one before I pass it back to Shannon. But another highly requested feature is going to be talking through an update in our media library. So let me click in here, and we're going to show this feature off. This is the ability to move your media library folders into another media library folder. So we previously made some updates where you could use like this bulk action toolbar down here if you recall, where you can select photos and then you could move as many selected photos as you choose into a folder. But then an enhancement to this work was also the ability to move folders within other folders. So again, we just want to make it super easy on you all of managing. We know a lot of folks love their media libraries and you like to be organized, of course, because there's lots of different events that you might do, or maybe you have different stylings, or you want to organize them in a set way of kind of your calendar and how it works, maybe by season or styling. So, in order to do this, it's real simple. It follows that same flow of the action toolbar that you are familiar with now with your photos. But say I have two similar folders here. I have spring weddings, which have, some nice images here of florals and kind of decor around spring weddings. But we also have a folder here of just primarily spring florals in themselves. So maybe it makes the most sense. We don't want kind of duplicate folders here. We want to condense that down into maybe just spring weddings. So what I can do is I can just select this folder, and then again, it's going to say move to folder. I can either add a new folder if I want to create that on the fly. I can go ahead and go through that path, or I can select a current folder, which I'm going to do. It shows all my folders, and then I want to add that to our spring wedding. So it kind of grays out the current folder that you currently are moving. And then I'm going to add that to my spring weddings, and then I'm going to confirm. And then now you'll see that I no longer have the spring florals. If I click into the spring weddings, you can now see that I have the folder within the folder, and then you can kind of go at it that way. So just another way to stay a bit more organized with your media library, and kind of automate that process of reducing down some steps and just making it easy to condense all your different files. So yeah, a lot of folks have large media collections, so just a better way to structure it. So we're excited to get that one out, as it was another highly requested feature.
Yeah, I actually
And
have a customer that I need to let them know, hey, we released it. It's amazing.
Yes, yes. So hopefully you're able to dive in and start using that feature. And then that covers it for me today. I'm going to pass it back to Shannon and she's going to carry us through with the rest of our features updates.
Okay, so yeah, I've got a few more features and then I'm going to pass it over to Ryan for Ryan to do the go ahead and do the drawing. So if in case you weren't here at the beginning, we are going to do a live $500 drawing today. I wish I could have my name in there, but I can't because I'm working, but you can. So scan the QR code if you want to just go straight to, or you can just go straight to bonus.curate.co. It is really easy to kind of fill out that information. And you can uh, like use AI to build a feedback or whatever, and then just go in here. It'll allow you to just submit that information, copy it. It just makes it really easy. So go to bonus.curate.co. So anything that you go ahead and you submit right now, it will go be an entry in that drawing as well. So go ahead and do that right now. If you haven't yet, utilize that, scan that code, go to bonus.curate.co, but put that in there. Um, um, the things for me to show is some updates in reports. So we do have some cool updates with reports. I feel like I'll talk to somebody about this, and before I even submit it, the product team has already spec'd it out and built it. I haven't even talked to them about it. So they're so good about taking that feedback. Be sure to always submit that feedback. Anything that you're thinking or feeling would be good, always submit that feedback because that helps us know what to build next. But for reports, we have some updates to custom reports. So in here, you can set up custom reports depending on your plan. You can set up some custom reports in here for things that you may want to pull. My favorite report is definitely the events report. It just has so much information nested in that events report. It is really handy, but it's a lot of information. So if you build a custom report, you can pull information from that events report basically. That's the only one right now that we have that you can pull from. But then you can pull up something specific that you want to pull. So some updates that we have in the custom reports is you can now add columns that are custom properties. So I have a service fee. We've got a lot of things in here that are like the custom properties for this event. The one that I'm really interested in is like this service fee, including that one in there. Maybe the travel fee. I like these fees here. And maybe I also want to do booked on date. That is something that you can filter by, is checking the booked on date. Then I want to do the name, the date, the ID. I don't need the date ID, but let me get the owner and the status, the event value. Anything that you think you may need, you can kind of put it together to build a custom report. So here, what I can check is my fees report for last month. I'm going to include last month on here. So you can choose the date range or whatever that you kind of want to be there. You could do this week, but it's good to pull some sort of a range. So I'm going to pull last month that's on there, have that included on there. The other thing that is possible now on this report is you are able to pull the booked on date in the custom reports. That is a key feature. A lot of people do pull reporting based on the date that the event was booked. So they're checking maybe for doing like commission. If you're running commission for last month, you can look on anything that was booked last month and use that. So it's choosing, do you want to do it based on the event start date, or if you want to choose the booked on date, and that's actually what I want to choose. Anything that was booked in the last month, I can do that. Um, I don't know actually what all is going to be in here. Oh, there is something that is actually in here. I wasn't sure if something was actually going to be in there, but it allows you to build those custom reports, and then you can pull that information here in your reporting. So I guess the order that I chose it in is key. Maybe just check the order that you do it, but I know you can like rearrange and stuff like that. But that's a great report. I love the ability now that you can do booked on. If I hop over to the events report, I'm going to go ahead and generate a report right here. You can also filter by the booked on date, which is really good. So I'm going to click generate. if you want to look for like a date range, if I want to say anything that was booked last month or anything that was, whenever you're going on the book date, here I'm just pulling in everything. But it's a great way of filtering down. A lot of people look, say, okay, what was booked in the last month or what was booked in the last quarter. Anytime that you're trying to investigate, the actual things that are happening for your company or for checking on payments, all kinds of reasons you would want to use that booked on thing there. All right. One another update in reports before I move on to the AI assist is that we do have also are also including, let me scoot on down here. We are also including the assigned cost into the profit. Just an update there, that is something that we are doing now. If you have something including an assigned cost, kind of like that little pop-up bubble that I was showing before, um, uh, that cost is going into the profit. That is calculating into the profit to tell you what is your profit for this event. That assigned cost is calculating into those numbers. All right. Okay. Then the next things for me to take a quick look at is we have recently done an update with our AI tool. So if you have the AI add-on, if you don't, you might want to have a conversation with us. But if you do have the AI add-on, we recently did an update in that tool, and it is more powerful than what it was before. It's really cool. So if I go over here, if you have that AI add-on, you're going to see this box in a couple of different places. You will actually see like this AI analysis over here in your events report. So you can run some analysis on your data in your events report that is there, but I'm actually going to demonstrate it here. So if you use any sort of AI at all, sometimes I'll use ChatGPT. I know other people use other systems, whatever AI that you kind of use. Um, this is similar, I would say like a similar functionality that's there, but as in how you can use it. There's some prompts that are already put in here. So one that I did earlier, I just did this one. I said, write a thank you note. It just makes it easy for you to kind of put it right here and just kind of process that, do those things right here within the system. So it pulls this up. I didn't really read it, but I was like, oh, that's a little bit too lengthy. If I'm not going to read it right now, I know they're not going to read it. So I'm going to say, shorten the note and add a request for a review on Google. So I can put something in there to kind of build something for me. Maybe this is just going to be like an email template. Something that I'll see people do is they'll have a, a automation as with this completed tab right here. So whenever they move something to complete it, it'll trigger a thank you note to their customer. And you could have something like this. And you can include that link on that Google review. So just include a link so they can go straight over to that Google, leave you a review for your business on there. So you can use the AI assist like this, where you're just doing general information, give me a description for something like this. You can use that kind of like that for those things. However, something that we have new in the system is it has the ability to generate contacts and even generate events. I have gone through the flow for generating an event. It's a little bit lengthier to me, to be honest. It's just easier right now to click plus new event. But the system does kind of learn you and your preferences. So the more that you're using your AI assist, the easier it will get, because it is learning like what's the setup and the flow or whatever that you generally kind of what. However, something that I do think is really easy in here is if I know that I'm working on a venue. So I said, okay, what's a venue in St. Louis? This little Bevo it's just a place for, it's a venue that we have in St. Louis. It's a cute little place. So what I can put here in my AI assist is I say, create a venue for the little Bevo. Um, the address is, and I'm going to grab the address. The phone number is, put that in there. The contact email address is And then I'm just going to grab, yeah, their email address just right here. So if you have some information, you can go ahead and just plug that in there and it will build contacts for you or something like that. We do have the bulk upload on the contacts, kind of similar to what we have on the catalog. The nice thing about that I like about this is on that bulk upload with the contacts, you still have to go in and mark it as a venue. If you have this set up where you're just copying and pasting it right here, it is building that contact. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do Bevo. And there it is. It's built that contact. It's marked it as a company and as a venue. And I think you could go even deeper, with adding information in there. But to me, that was such a faster way of building out a venue in the system. Maybe I just want to quickly get a bunch of people in. That's how you can do it. You can quickly add this, create contacts, create people in the system. So it's a great little thing. Definitely check that out. If you don't have the AI add-on, or if you want to talk to us about the AI add-on, just let us know. There's some cool things that you can do with it right here within your Curate account. For the sake of time, we don't have time to dig into StaffMate, but for anybody out there that may use StaffMate, we have recently released a integration with StaffMate. So you can see that in here. It is possible to integrate with that in the system. But we're not going to show it off today just for the sake of time. But if you use StaffMate, reach out to us so that we can look at getting that set up for you. StaffMate, for anybody who doesn't know, it's kind of similar to Nowstate in that it's a staffing software. But I believe, if I'm remembering right, on the StaffMate integration, you can sync that multiple times. Whereas with the Nowstate integration, you can only sync it once over to Nowsta. But I believe StaffMate, you can sync and then resync over there so that you can have updates be sent over to StaffMate. So if you use StaffMate, let us know, reach out to us so that we can help you get that connected in the system and you can be sending your events over to StaffMate just to make things a little bit more streamlined with your processes. Okay, that is it for me. I am going to pass it over to Ryan, and Ryan is going to be doing the drawing. So here's your last call. Go to bonus.curate.co and send anything in there. But I'll stop sharing and I'll pass it to Ryan so that Ryan can do the drawing. I want to know.
Hey everyone, want to give big kudos to Brooklyn and Shannon. I know they're all the time spinning up new content on here. We really appreciate everybody's feedback. I think we released something like 37 new pieces of functionality this last month, and a lot of that's due to the people who are on this call. So thanks so much for all of your feedback on this. Now I have a few people that I have to go mark your entry as in here. Here we go. Got a few other people here. All right. So I think we're good. So let me go and share my screen. Make sure all the entries are in here. And I just built some of this today, so this will be a fun new thing to share. So I don't know if you can see my screen. All right. So we've got, so many entries that we're going to be doing out of here. So I don't know if we mentioned it, but we're actually going to be doing 2 drawings today for 2 $500 either Amazon gift cards or Curate credit, one of the two, your choice, based on what your preferences that you have added into here. But let me come into here real quick and let's find out who the first winner is. So I'm going to draw it. Here we go.
Nervous.
All right. Hold on. Let me go find out who this is. I didn't want to share your email address with everybody.
A little
Let's see.
dramatic.
That's right. That's right. It looks like, hold on. It looks like it is Stems Brooklyn who won this one. So congrats to Stems Brooklyn. We'll be reaching out to give you some Curate credit. But if you did not win, don't despair. We've got one more here that we're going to be clicking here. So let's click draw another winner. We didn't take your first names. We just took your email addresses. So then we'll let you know who it is without messing up on our YouTube taking down our videos for sharing people's email addresses. All right. Let me see who this is. All right, this is Phyllis as you like it events. So I'm excited. Phyllis gave a lot of feedback, a lot of the features that were released this last month. So congrats to our two winners. If you still have we're going to be doing this basically monthly. If you still have some more reviews, feedback to put, every single one of them, not only do we give you a thank you for putting that in, but also you get added to the next time that we do this as well. So congrats, thanks together, thanks for all of our winners, and again, thanks to all the customers out there. I'm just excited to be on here and get an update and see everything that's happening in everyone's businesses.
Yay!
Amazing.
So exciting. Yeah, we're really excited to do those drawings and just reward you all like Ryan and Shannon shared. We really love hearing your all's feedback and how Curate's making an impact in your businesses. And so we love seeing your all's reviews and your feedback that you've been sharing with us. And of course, we want to reward you for that. So we're really excited that we got to do some big drawings here for you guys. And so we'll be in touch with those folks that won so that they can claim their prize money. And then I guess just to wrap up here, because we're almost at time, there's another way that you can also earn $500, and that's through our affiliate program. So if you have not done our affiliate program, let me grab the link here and I can share that with everyone. But you can earn $500 for every new customer who signs up into Curate with your affiliate account. So you'd have to sign up for the affiliate program. It's really easy to do so. You can even do so in your Curate account. Um, Here, there's a referral link. And then let's see. Let me grab this. Sorry, I have too many tabs open, everyone. But you can sign up for our promoter program. It's in the account, and let's see. I'm getting it to loading now. Sorry, you'll earn $200, and then they also get 20% off their Curate account. So kind of a combination of, I guess, the math I was doing in my head potentially.
We'll give you unlimited of those that you want to. So
Yeah, you can earn it for every single customer. So there's some rewards to be joined or to earn there with spreading your love for Curate, and we appreciate all those referrals that come to us through that. I also want to share a link for our product board portal, and this will also all be in the email sent out post webinar so that you have access to it for the folks that couldn't join us live. But we do have a product board portal that I know we mention often. Hopefully, those links are sending out to everyone. But that's a way that you can submit your ideas. Again, all of our features, we really, consider your all's feedback of our power users and kind of what those updates might look like for us. So we do appreciate everyone that takes the time to submit their ideas so that our product and development teams can take a look and see how we can make those enhancement happens for you all and have these fun updates to share on our webinars. And so I think that about covers it. We have our next webinar in May in just about a month. And so we hope to see you all again on the next call and be on the lookout for the recording and then these different links in the emails for you as well. So thanks for joining us joining today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys. Have a good week.